Welcome. Today, we're diving into a fascinating topic that shapes international business: the difference between high context and low context cultures. Understanding these two communication styles is crucial for anyone working across borders. Whether you're negotiating a deal, managing a team, or simply trying to build relationships, knowing how context influences communication can make all the difference. In this video, we'll break down what high context and low context cultures are, explore their characteristics, and see how they impact business interactions. Let's start by defining what we mean by context in communication. Context cultures rely heavily on implicit communication. In these cultures, much of the information is conveyed through nonverbal cues, shared experiences, and unspoken understanding. People are expected to read between the lines and pick up on subtle hints. Relationships and trust are key, and communication is often indirect. Countries like Japan, China, and many Arab nations are classic examples of high context culture. Let's look at what makes these cultures unique and why understanding them is essential in international business. Low context cultures, on the other hand, value explicit and direct communication. Here, the message is spelled out clearly in words, and there's less reliance on nonverbal cues or shared background. People from low context cultures expect information to be clear, detailed, and unambiguous. The United States, Germany, and Scandinavian countries are often cited as examples. In business, this means meetings, contracts, and negotiations are straightforward, with little room for misinterpretation. Let's explore how this style contrasts with high context communication. What are the main differences between high context and low context cultures? In high context cultures, much is left unsaid, and understanding depends on the relationship and situation. In low context cultures, everything is spelled out and clarity is prioritized. This can lead to misunderstandings when people from different backgrounds interact. For example, a direct question in a low context culture might seem rude in a high context culture. Recognizing these differences is the first step to effective cross-cultural communication. Let's look at some real-world examples of high context cultures. In Japan, business cards are exchanged with both hands and a bow, signaling respect and relationship. In Arab cultures, personal relationships are built before business is discussed. In Latin America, meetings often start with small talk, and decisions may be made outside formal settings. These examples show how much meaning is packed into gestures, rituals, and shared history, rather than just words. Now let's consider low-context cultures. In the United States, business meetings are often direct and to the point. Agendas are followed closely, and decisions are made based on facts and figures. In Germany, precision and clarity are valued, and contracts are detailed. Scandinavian countries also prefer straightforward communication, with little emphasis on hierarchy or ritual. These examples highlight the importance of clear, unambiguous language in low-context culture. Negotiations can be particularly challenging when high-context and low-context cultures meet. High-context negotiators may focus on building trust and relationship before discussing details, while low-context negotiators want to get straight to the point. This can lead to frustration or misunderstandings. For example, a Japanese negotiator may interpret directness as impatience, while an American may see indirectness as evasiveness. Being aware of these tendencies helps negotiators adapt their approach. Working in multicultural teams brings its own set of challenges. High-context team members may expect others to pick up on unspoken cues, while low-context members prefer explicit instructions. This can lead to confusion, missed deadlines, or even conflict. Successful teams learn to bridge these gaps by clarifying expectations and encouraging open dialogue. Understanding each other's communication preferences is key to effective teamwork in international business. Relationship building is central in high-context cultures. Business partners may spend significant time getting to know each other before any deals are made. Social events, shared meals, and informal gatherings are common. In contrast, low-context cultures may see these activities as unnecessary or even a waste of time. Recognizing the value of relationship building can help bridge cultural divides and foster trust in international business. Hierarchy often plays a bigger role in high-context cultures. Respect for authority and seniority is emphasized, and decisions may be made by consensus or behind the scenes. In low-context cultures, hierarchy is less pronounced and open debate is encouraged. Understanding these differences helps avoid missteps, such as bypassing a senior leader or expecting immediate feedback from junior staff. Nonverbal cues are vital in high-context cultures. A gesture, a pause, or even silence can convey important information. In low-context cultures, nonverbal signals are less significant and words carry most of the meaning. Misreading these cues can lead to misunderstandings. For example, silence in Japan may signal agreement, while in the US it might be seen as discomfort. Being sensitive to nonverbal communication is essential in cross-cultural business. Written communication also differs. In low-context cultures, emails, contracts, and reports are detailed and explicit. Every point is spelled out to avoid ambiguity. In high-context cultures, written communication may be brief, relying on shared understanding and context. This can cause confusion if expectations aren't aligned. It's important to clarify what's expected in writing when working internationally. Decision-making can be influenced by cultural context. High-context cultures may take longer to make decisions, as consensus and relationship building are prioritized. In low-context cultures, decisions are often made quickly based on facts and data. This difference can lead to frustration if not understood. Patience and flexibility are important when working across cultures. How conflict is handled also varies. In high-context cultures, conflict may be avoided or addressed indirectly to preserve harmony. In low-context cultures, open discussion and direct confrontation are more common. Understanding these preferences helps prevent escalation and promote smoother resolution. Adapting your approach to conflict can build stronger business relationships. Feedback is another area where context matters. In high-context cultures, feedback is often given subtly to avoid embarrassment. In low-context cultures, feedback is direct and specific. This can lead to misunderstandings, with high-context individuals perceiving direct feedback as rude and low-context individuals missing subtle cues. Being aware of these differences can improve communication and team performance. Time is perceived differently across cultures. High-context cultures may have a flexible approach to time, valuing relationships over strict schedules. Low-context cultures are often punctual and deadline-driven. This can cause frustration in international projects if expectations aren't aligned. Setting clear timelines and understanding cultural attitudes toward time can help keep projects on track. Trust is built differently in high and low-context cultures. High-context cultures rely on personal relationships and long-term interactions to build trust. In low-context cultures, trust is often based on competence and reliability. Understanding how trust is established can help you build stronger partnerships and avoid missteps in international business. Marketing strategies must also adapt to cultural context. High-context cultures respond well to subtle relationship-focused messaging, while low-context cultures prefer clear, direct advertising. Misjudging your audience can lead to ineffective campaigns. Tailoring your message to fit the cultural context increases your chances of success in international markets. Customer service expectations can differ widely. High-context customers may expect personalized service and attention to relationships, while low-context customers value efficiency and clear information. Training your team to recognize and adapt to these expectations can improve customer satisfaction and loyalty in global markets. Leadership styles are influenced by cultural context. High-context cultures may prefer leaders who are relationship-oriented and consultative. Low-context cultures often value decisive, task-focused leadership. Recognizing these preferences can help you lead diverse teams more effectively and avoid misunderstandings. Training programs must also consider cultural context. High-context learners may prefer group activities and storytelling, while low-context learners benefit from clear instructions and structured materials. Adapting your training approach ensures everyone can learn effectively, regardless of cultural background. With the rise of remote work, virtual communication has become essential. High-context cultures may find it challenging to build relationships online, while low-context cultures adapt more easily to digital communication. Using video calls, clear agendas, and follow-up messages can help bridge the gap and ensure effective collaboration. Adapting your communication style is key to success in international business. This might mean being more explicit with instructions or taking time to build relationships before diving into business. Flexibility and cultural awareness go a long way in avoiding misunderstandings and building strong partnerships. Let's look at a case study comparing Japan and the USA. In Japan, business meetings often begin with formal greetings and small talk, and decisions are made after consensus is reached. In the USA, meetings are direct and decisions are made quickly. Understanding these differences helps both sides avoid frustration and work together more effectively. In Germany, business communication is clear, direct, and focused on facts. Contracts are detailed and punctuality is valued. In China, relationships and trust are built over time and indirect communication is common. Recognizing these differences can help avoid misunderstandings and build successful business relationships. Brazilian business culture is high context, with an emphasis on personal relationships and informal communication. In Sweden, business is conducted in a low-context manner with clear agendas and direct communication. Understanding these cultural norms can help you navigate meetings and negotiations more effectively. Misunderstandings often arise when people assume their way of communicating is universal. For example, a low-context manager may interpret a high-context colleague's indirectness as lack of commitment, while the high-context colleague may see directness as rude. Recognizing these pitfalls helps prevent conflict and fosters better collaboration. Bridging the gap between high and low-context cultures requires effort from both sides. This might involve asking clarifying questions, being patient, and showing respect for different communication styles. Over time, teams can develop shared norms that blend the best of both approaches. In some cases, interpreters or cultural liaisons can help bridge communication gaps. They not only translate language but also explain cultural nuances. This is especially helpful in high-stakes negotiations or when building long-term partnerships. Investing in cultural expertise can pay off in smoother business interactions. Many companies offer cultural training to help employees navigate international business. These programs teach about high and low-context communication, etiquette, and business practices. Investing in training can reduce misunderstandings and improve global teamwork. Adapting marketing materials for different cultures is essential. High-context audiences may respond better to stories and emotional appeals, while low-context audiences prefer clear, factual information. Tailoring your approach can increase engagement and drive better results in international markets. Presentations should also be adapted. In high-context cultures, visuals and stories may be more effective, while low-context cultures appreciate clear data and bullet points. Understanding your audience helps you deliver messages that resonate and achieve your business goals. Technology can help bridge cultural gaps. Tools like instant messaging, video conferencing, and collaborative platforms make it easier to communicate across time zones and cultures. However, it's important to remember that technology doesn't replace cultural understanding. Use these tools to support, not replace, effective cross-cultural communication. Global leaders must be culturally agile. This means recognizing when to adapt their style, when to clarify expectations, and how to motivate teams from different backgrounds. Culturally agile leaders build trust, foster innovation, and drive international business success. Cultural intelligence is the ability to understand and adapt to different cultural contexts. It involves being curious, open-minded, and willing to learn from others. Developing cultural intelligence helps you navigate complex international business environments and build lasting relationships. Here are some practical tips for navigating high and low context cultures. Do your research before meetings, observe how others communicate, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Be patient, flexible, and willing to adapt your style. These small steps can make a big difference in your international business success. Common pitfalls include making assumptions, ignoring nonverbal cues, and failing to clarify expectations. These mistakes can lead to misunderstandings and damaged relationships. Being proactive and culturally aware helps you avoid these traps and build stronger business connections. Cultural awareness brings many benefits. It improves communication, reduces conflict, and opens doors to new opportunities. Companies that invest in cultural understanding are better positioned to succeed in global markets and build lasting partnerships. Cultural competence is not a one-time achievement. It requires continuous learning and adaptation. Stay curious, seek feedback, and keep building your knowledge of different cultures. This ongoing effort will help you thrive in international business environments. Let's summarize what we've learned. High-context cultures rely on relationships and implicit communication, while low-context cultures value clarity and directness. Understanding these differences helps you navigate international business, avoid misunderstandings, and build stronger teams. Remember, there's no right or wrong style, just different approaches. Now that you understand high and low context cultures, think about how you can apply this knowledge in your own work. Whether you're leading a team, negotiating a deal, or launching a new product, cultural awareness will help you succeed. Start by observing, asking questions, and being open to new ways of communicating. If you want to learn more, there are many resources available. Books, online courses, and cultural training programs can deepen your understanding of high and low context communication. Investing in your cultural competence is a smart move for anyone in international business. Diversity in the workplace brings fresh perspectives and new ideas. Embracing different communication styles and cultural backgrounds can drive innovation and growth. Encourage diversity in your teams and celebrate the strengths that each culture brings to the table. As we wrap up, remember that cultural context shapes every aspect of international business. By being aware of high and low context differences, you can communicate more effectively, build stronger relationships, and achieve your goals. Stay curious, keep learning, and embrace the richness of global business. Thank you for joining us on this journey through high and low context cultures in international business. We hope you found these insights helpful and that you feel more confident navigating cross-cultural communication. Wishing you success in all your international business endeavors.